Analysis U.S. Circulate to negotiate drug fees, a rare defeat for Big Pharma. Washington. Big Pharma spent more than some other industry to lobby Congress and federal companies this year, a evaluation suggests, however, nonetheless suffered a major defeat after failing to prevent an invoice that allows the authorities to barter prices on chews tablets. Despite the pharmaceutical enterprises spending at the least $142 million on lobbying efforts, the $430 billion Inflation Reduction Act to alternate weather, health and tax guidelines turns into law. It cleared its largest hurdle last week with passage within the Senate, without any Republicans becoming a member of Democrats in vote casting for the bill, accompanied with the aid of passage by using the U.S. House of Representatives on Friday. NL1N2020V, President Joe Biden will signal it into law subsequent week. The bill's imminent enactment represents a rare legislative defeat for the pharmaceutical enterprise and sets a precedent for curbing drug costs within the world's maximum beneficial marketplace for drugs, in keeping with congressional and industry officers. This is a primary first leap forward, Democratic Senator Patty Murray, chair of the Senate's Fitness Committee, advised. It is the primary time we've been able to make this type of step to decrease expenses on prescription drugs, for you to set the level for us to do extra. Health coverage experts say the invoice reflects the pharma enterprise's weakening have an effect on at the Democratic Party, and that its principal argument against rate negotiation that it stifles innovation is not persuasive for the general public. A Kaiser Family Foundation ballot in October located that 83% of Americans, together with 95% of Democrats and 71% of Republicans, need the federal Medicare health plan for seniors to barter prices, a provision of the bill. The pharma guys upped the ante in throwing the whole thing but the kitchen sink in opposition to this, mentioned Senator Ron Wyden, a Democrat who chairs the Finance Committee. The Enterprises Effective Change Association, Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, PHRMA, entreated senators in a public letter to reject the invoice. Its president, Stephen UBL, instructed Politico that lawmakers who vote for it might not get a unfastened skip. Few institutions have all of the gear of modern political advocacy at their disposal inside the manner that PHRMA does, he said. A PHRMA spokesperson stated the institution might maintain to paintings with all lawmakers. He did not address UBL's comments about keeping lawmakers accountable. We might not agree on each trouble, however we trust engagement and speak is vital to promoting a policy surroundings that helps innovation, a highly skilled group of workers and get right of entry to life-saving drugs for sufferers, mentioned spokesperson Brian Newell in an email. Pharma's plan a evaluation of lobbying and campaign contribution data from Open Secrets shows that the pharmaceutical industry spent as a minimum $142.6 million on lobbying Congress and federal businesses in the first half of 2022, greater than any enterprise, and at least $16.1 million on campaign contributions at some point of the contemporary midterm election cycle that began in January 2021. Almost two-thirds of the money spent on lobbying, round $93 million, came from PHRMA and its member businesses. The Pharma campaign argued that pharmaceuticals do not contribute to inflation, citing a mean 2.5% rise in drug expenses within the past year in comparison with a 17% rise in health insurance expenditures. Critics say the figures combine high-priced logo-call capsules with a great deal lower-cost generics, overlaying the effect on patients' charges. A KFF look at expected that fees accelerated quicker than inflation for half of all drugs protected with the aid of Medicare in 2020. The industry has long warned that price curbs inside the U.S.